In this video, I'm going to be explaining how you can add an extra 20 to 40K per month MRR in your business by just posting simple content assets. So watch this video till the end. And if you want to work with me one-on-one so I can help you get 10 to 30 qualified sales calls per month for your coaching or consulting business in the next 90 days or you don't pay, check the link in the description below.
Alright, let's just get right into it. Here's how you can exactly add an extra 20K MRR to your coaching, consulting, or marketing business. So, first, you need to understand that your main duty as a business owner is to create leverage. Leverage, like essentially, you need to understand that the amount of leverage you create equals the amount of like business your business makes. Now, why is leverage so important? We need to understand this. Leverage equals freedom. Leverage equals authority. Leverage equals scalability, long term wealth, and magnetic positioning. When you have leverage, these things come with leverage. That's why it's so important because you need to understand money is a tool to actually get to where you are. You don't want to be the person who's creating millions of like $1 million months or having like 100K months, but like doesn't have any isn't guaranteed long-term wealth or doesn't like struggles with client acquisition or doesn't have freedom is trapped to their desk like 24/7. So that's not leverage. We need to create leverage. And one of the best ways you can create leverage in 2025 is by creating niche down content. This is by far one of the best ways because I'll tell you why. But essentially, it's so important because like now you don't have to fight uh, for your competitors' attention, but you're creating an ecosystem where your competitors don't have a chance because it's your own ecosystem, and where your viewers are essentially just attracted to it because you're creating content that is exactly in line with their pain points and desires. Now, the reason why niche down content is so important is because number one, you build trust at scale. Literally, you build trust at scale, and which in the result of that, you shorten sales cycles because you need to understand when you have like I'm talking like I'll give you an example. Recently, I invested into a mentorship, and I invested like after binge watching like his YouTube videos, seeing his client results, and seeing what like seeing if his content is the content he actually providing in line with what I want to do is like something he's offering in line with what I want to make. So I invested in that, and the main thing was I binged watch his content and I actually searched up his name on YouTube. So trust is essentially built at scale because you haven't bought anything from someone if at least you haven't seen them online or if you haven't seen them if you haven't consumed any of their content. So that's why trust is built at scale, and if they create content that is in solving your pain points, addressing your pain points, that shortens sales cycles because the only reason why you hop on the sales call is basically to ask questions, see if it's the right fit or not, but they've already answered your questions in their content. So you just hop on the call with some nitty gritty questions and you get the call and you get the close. That's how it's done. Secondly, you stop selling. Instead, you get pre-sold prospects ready to buy. Now, you need to understand there's a difference between selling someone and them being ready to buy. Selling, you have to make this effort. Like you like, I wouldn't say selling is like this as a whole, but you would have to use tactics and you would have to use strategy of that stuff. Instead, why don't you just create an ecosystem that makes people like pre-sold to what you have and them just being ready to buy. You don't have to do any selling, and they're just like, okay, I see what you're doing and I do think it aligns with me, so here's my credit card. I'm ready to get started, and that's how you close. It's so simple because like I said, there's a difference between selling and buying, and once you manage to have that asset, which is content, and you make people ready to buy, that's where that's when client acquisition becomes too easy. That's when it's literally on easy mode because you don't have to do anything essentially because people are coming to you. Secondly, thirdly, you create influence, which gives you the ability to shift people's thoughts, beliefs, and decisions. Now, influence is such a powerful thing because, like I said, when you have influence, you have the ability to actually have a say in the decisions people make. You have the ability to, I wouldn't say manipulate them, but actually make them like have a decision, make them like believe in one thing over another. But how do you get influence? By showing up constantly, by being the one who creates content that is something that your ICP wants to see. That's when niche down content comes up, because we're not optimizing for virality. We don't want like millions of views who aren't your ICP. Even if we get like 200 to 500 views, or even thousands of views, but those are your ICP, that's the best, because you've, like I said, essentially created an ecosystem. So the only way you can create influence in today's day and age is by creating niche down content. And when you have influence, you have the ability to shift people's thoughts, beliefs, and decisions. That means when they're like thinking of buying something, they'll they'll have you in their mind, because you essentially made them go from one belief to another. You're basically influencing their decisions. Now, fourthly, you differentiate yourself from 99% of coaches, consultants, and info sellers, because most are too afraid. Like genuinely, like when I started my journey, I was contemplating whether I should even create content or not. Because the thing is, it's such a scary step to take, because like most people are like seeing you, like it's like basically a public forum. But if you can just take that step to create content, you're already differentiating yourself, because either people are too afraid, or they don't have a strategy, or they quit halfway. So you just creating content and sticking to it and actually showing up daily differentiates you so much, and actually helps you get more sales in the long run. Because like I remember like when I was too scared, and because I'm a very private person, like I wouldn't really want to, like if I didn't see my business is getting a direct ROI from content, I wouldn't be creating it right now. Like I wouldn't be creating this video if I didn't know the value I had to provide, and if I actually didn't know the amount of ROI I get to from my business, like to my business from content. So that's why just start creating niche down content, and you're already differentiating yourself. Because others like like they don't have a strategy. They think that like I'm not gonna create niche down content. I'm gonna attract everybody with my content, and that's how they can decide whether they want to work with me or not. Because but that's not gonna work, because most of the people you're gonna attract are gonna be average people. Okay, now I think we're on the fifth point. This is essentially client acquisition gets systemized and predictable, because once you like one of the biggest mistakes like coaches make is that they don't track their inputs. Like they don't track what their inputs is actually getting them. Like for example, if you create 4 YouTube videos per month, or you create one video per month, and that one video gets you one like 2 to 3 calls book, and you close one. That's a metric. So every time you create one YouTube video, you know that you're going to get this amount of calls and you're going to close this many. That's why it's so predictable, in the sense that you just have to create content, see how many videos does it take you to book calls and actually close clients, and systemize in a way that it's like you just have to do simple steps. You have to get make an idea. You have to essentially like research on the idea if it's a good idea, because in YouTube the two most important things is ideation and thumbnail, because that's the first things people have their site on. And then you basically script and do the post-production process. You could also have this all done for you by just by me essentially helping you to do so. So you could get 10 to 30 qualified calls per month for your business in the next 90 days, or you don't pay. So if you're interested in that, you can book a call, and like down below it's written in the YouTube description. So client acquisition, like I said, it comes too easy, because you know what you need to do in order to get clients. And this is when basically client acquisition is like evergreen, like because the content you create is evergreen. Like if you don't get sales now, you'll be getting sales like 5 years down the line, because your prospects will be seeing your previous content, and then they'll be seeing your previous content, like what you've like how far you've come, and then they're gonna get the sale. Like the sixth point is top of mind, top of wallet. Now, when you're showing up daily, when you're showing up every single day or daily, you're providing value, and you're actually solving your ICP's problem. And the reason why I'm like emphasizing so much on solving your ICP's problem is because I don't want you to be a creator. I want you to be a business owner. Think as a business owner. And obviously, you are a business owner. You're not optimizing for how many views I'm getting or how many likes I'm getting, comments, all that stuff. You're optimizing for how much money you're making every single video you create. That's why when you're top of mind, you're top of wallet. Like, tell me something. Like, when you see a person showing up every day and they're actually providing value and solving your problems, and then you implement their free value and it actually works for you, obviously, when it comes to the decision of investing in a mentorship or um, yeah, investing into mentorship, they're gonna think of you because you're the one who solve their problems. Your free value actually worked for them, and you're the one who's showing up constantly when people are contemplating whether they should create content or not, and like showing up like once a month or something. Lastly, your offer is not unique. You are. Like, you need to understand the offer you have right now. Hundreds of thousands of people have that same offer. They have the same ICP. They might have the same, they wouldn't have the same competitive edge, but they have all the same deliverables, offer, guarantees, no guarantees, all of that stuff. So, what makes you different? Yeah, so I was saying you're unique. Your offer isn't because everyone's like almost everyone's offering the same thing. But what makes you different? Well, the answer is you, your journey, your story, what like your competitive edge, the ups and downs you've had. Because you would buy from someone who are like you relate to. Obviously, like number one, you would buy from someone whose services like align with what you want to do, and secondly, who you relate to. Like you showing up, telling your story in your YouTube videos is actually such a powerful way to attract the people that actually align with what you're selling, because now you're not just faking it, because it's so easy and it's so dreadful to fake something. But when you're yourself and you're preaching your offer, telling your stories, telling anecdotes and analogies, all that stuff in your content, it just differentiates you so much, because most people are just like delivering the value. But like, if you could deliver the value in a way by also telling something that would make people more like soften up to you and your offer, that's so much powerful than just delivering the value. Because now this, you're telling your story actually makes people trust you. And what did we talk about? When you have trust and content helps you gain trust, plus content plus telling your story is going to help you build trust at 10x. Now, there are three types of content you should create and you should leverage in order to make money and start attracting your dream clients. Number one, it's value driven content. Now, this is going to be 40% of your funnel. So 40% of your videos should be value driven. This is where this is like videos like breakdown videos, how to content, step by step guides, frameworks, explainer videos, and exposing strategies, all in your niche. Remember, we're aiming to attract your ICP, no one else. So, for example, if you're in the high ticket sales niche, you could do breaking down a $5,000 sales call, and I explain everything. Or you could do how to find remote sales jobs, untapped methods, all of that stuff. Secondly, we have authority building content, which is going to be 30% of your content. So 30% of your content should be authority building. This is where you show client interviews, case study breakdowns, hot takes, personal perspective, and being, for example, if you're being featured somewhere, show it. If you're speaking on a podcast, like obviously, like show it, because that builds authority. Client interviews like shows people, builds trust and authority at scale, because people understand that you know what you're talking about and you can actually help them. Case study breakdown is you basically telling what you did exactly for your client step by step. So you basically send the information, no, so you basically explain the information and sell the implementation. And hot takes is something that most people won't do because you're being too polar. But the truth is, being polar is actually nice, because when you're polarizing your content, you're attracting people that you're meant to attract, and you're basically getting people who align with your messaging, and people who hate you are just going to the opposite direction. And getting hate is actually a good thing, because then you realize you're doing something correct. And personal perspective is because this is your perspective on industry, on the industry you're operating in, in life in general, all of that stuff. This is a perspective that this is something no one can steal from you. Like I said, your offers, like your offer everyone has, but your personal perspective, it's only your perspective. And lastly, 30% connect last 30% of content should be connection content. This is where you explain your core beliefs, show behind the scenes of what you're building, and sharing the lessons and viewpoints that you've built throughout this journey. So this is where people connect with you. And core beliefs meaning like you explaining your morals, values. Yeah, so connection basis content is that it's so important because you would buy from someone you relate to, and this really builds a connection with you, the speaker, and your viewers. And it makes people soften up to you and actually understand where you're coming from, what's your motive to help them, how you're helping them, all of that stuff. So, like, I kid you not, if you follow this framework and you do 40% of value driven content, 30% of authority building content, and 30% of connection content, strategically, you will be attracting your dream clients in less than 90 days. You will be making money from your content in less than 90 days. Now, that being said, if you're a high ticket coach, info seller, consultant, or a marketing agency that is selling a high ticket offer that is at least above 3K or 5K, we will make you a social acquisition funnel that generates you anywhere from 10 to 30 qualified calls per month for your business, or you don't pay. So it's a simple offer. Like, I'll be explaining everything on the call. You're not going to be having a call with a closer or appointment setter, but me one to one. So if you're interested in that, book a call down below. I really do believe and I really do hope that this video was valuable to you. If you have any um, ideas on what I should make a video on next, you can feel free to book, feel free to comment in the chat, and I'll see you in the